I'm going to, and then I'm going to sit down. Words. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Bears.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville, whether you are with us here in person or you're joining us online. My name is James Cassara. I am an almost 70-year-old white male with not much graying hair left on top. In that, I am hardly unique in this congregation. But I am grateful to be with you today serving as the worship associate and welcoming the Reverend Eve Stevens. Eve is an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister and has served congregations in Utica, New York, and Charlotte, North Carolina. She left the full-time ministry after the birth of her second child and now works as a health coach here in Asheville. She loves guest preaching every chance she gets. It takes many hands to put together a Sunday service, and as always, we are grateful for our greeters, those who anchor the welcome table, for the ushers, the folks who serve coffee and clean up afterwards, and for all the many, many tasks that are involved. Special thanks to Dr. Les Downs, along with Paul Moore, Brett Johnson, and Will Jernigan for today's music. And the ever-steady Simon is again lending his technical expertise. Ours is a faith tethered in shared values and always, always centered in love. No matter who you are, how you identify, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are truly welcomed here. I never tire of sharing those words. Please silence your devices as we enter into our service with music. I would now like to call up Jasper and his mom for the lighting of our chalice. This chalice represents the continuum of our faith. And as we light it, we each breathe to remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power that we hold to shape the world around us, to become the beloved community that we long for. Please rise in body and spirit as we sing hymn 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness. It can be found in your teal hymnal or up on the screen.
It's wonderful to be with you this morning. And youngest members of the congregation, you especially, I am going to be talking with the adults today about a Buddhist practice called beginner's mind. And you can think about beginner's mind a few ways, but one way is to try to learn to see the world and the people in it as if for the first time, as if you've never seen them before, which that sounds kind of hard, right? How are you going to do that when you see them every day? So another way to think about it is to try to learn to be curious first, instead of thinking, I already know everything I need to know about this person or this place or experience. So I was thinking about how we could practice this morning, and I thought we could play a little game together. But let me explain the game first, where it comes from. So my kids love watching this show called Alien TV. And it's about cute little aliens, not scary aliens. And they are journalists, these aliens, foreign correspondents. And they come from their planet to Earth. And they're trying to kind of observe these things called humans and the things we do. And they're trying to figure it out. Why on earth would they do that? Or what's that thing they're holding? And they go back to their home planet. and they lead a show, a news broadcast, and explain what they've learned. So in one episode, they see kids playing on a jungle gym, and they say, okay, they're hunting for fun. They're in search of fun, is how they explain it. And then in another episode, they go into a room with a lot of equipment in it, and they see this human with a lot of pain on their face, just breathing hard, running on this endless road, and they can't figure out why they would do that. We would look at it and say it's a treadmill, right? So here's the game. I am going to hold up an object, and I want you guys to pretend that all the adults in here are from another planet, and they've never been here. They don't know what this thing is. They don't know what it does. So in one sentence, ideally, maybe two, but trying to keep it short, try to explain what this is or what it's used for, okay? That is right. What would you say to an alien who'd never seen a crayon before? What does it do? Colors. Okay. Colors on paper to make drawings. Yes. Coloring stuff. Beautiful. Yes, exactly. I think they'd get that. Okay, what about this thing? Fly swatter. Iris? Yes, you're flipping food with it. Anybody else want to tell the aliens anything? A spatula. Good. They need to learn the language. That's good. You can teach them that. That's great. Helps to cook food so you don't have to use your hands because you might burn your hand. Excellent. That's a great answer. Okay, let's do one more. I wondered the same. That's why I chose this bag. What do you think? What would we say to aliens about this one? Yes, you can skate so it has wheels. You put it on your feet to go places. Is that good? Good job, you guys. Thank you for humoring me. That was very fun. And I hope you have a great time in your classes. It was great to meet you.
Faith formation adventures. We want to invite any parents, especially if you're new or visiting, and sending your children downstairs for the first time to walk with your kids so you can meet your group's leaders and find out where to pick your child up after worship. We will now sing our children out. Go in peace. Our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. As is our custom, this is the moment in our service where we communally share our joys and concerns. For those who are here in the sanctuary and with those online. The flower petals that I will place in each bowl represent the joys that we experience. I will brine the water with salt, representative of the tears that we might shed in sorrow. Please come down from the outside edges and get the stones where the rocks are found, and then we'll move in 2 rows back toward the center when you're finished. If the aisle is blocked, it is okay to gently ask someone to move so you can return to your spot. We will now share our joys and concerns.
There is a parable in the Zen Buddhist tradition that you may be familiar with. This telling comes from Suzuki Roshi's work, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. So here's how it goes. A man once went to see a Zen master. And when they were seated across the table from one another, the man asked the Zen master to explain the meaning of Zen. But then after asking the question, the man talked and talked, wanting to say everything he already did know about Zen. And the Zen master sat patiently listening before setting 2 cups between them. And after a while, he started to pour tea into one of the cups. But instead of stopping when the tea got to the brim, he kept pouring, and the tea spilled up over the cup, down onto the table, down onto the floor, until the man said, "What are you doing? Can't you see the cup is full?" And according to Suzuki Roshi's telling, the Zen master replied, "I want to point out to you that you are similarly attempting to understand Zen while your mind is full. First, empty your mind of preconceptions before you attempt to understand. If your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything. It is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few.
Good morning. Does anybody know Peter Mayer? Okay, so Peter Mayer is known in UU circles as the guy who wrote Blue Boat Home. Well, this is another song of his that tells about, really it's about his transition from being raised Catholic to being a UU. So this is Holy Now. When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow, but today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from a water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but to find where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm singing in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
I drive my 2 young children to school every day, and there's always a flurry of activity from the time they wake up, pulling on socks, trying to figure out what to have for breakfast, setting the timer to play for what I am always told is a woefully inadequate amount of time. And then we stumble toward the car. I strap them in, hand them their toothbrushes so they can multitask on the drive. Before I hop in, notice for the 80th time the pile of trash in the passenger seat, shake my head, Eve, 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 and start driving. There is never any lack of conversation during our drives. And somehow, no matter where my mind is as we're making our way, my kids are able, most mornings, casually, out of nowhere, to pull me into a state of wonder with them. Once my oldest child, Ethan, asked me, "Mommy, what are those ropes in the sky?" And maybe you can picture right away what he was talking about, but I had no idea. And I looked around everywhere, taking him at his word, thinking there must be these ropes in the sky that have somehow escaped my attention all this time. The lines that a plane leaves behind? No. My youngest, Hank, also seemed to know about these ropes and find me comically out of touch. Oh, the power lines. Once we confirmed that we were indeed talking about the same thing, they, of course, asked, "What do power lines do?" And if you're an electrician, I apologize to you in advance. But I said, well, they do a lot, I guess, but one thing is they carry light to the grocery store and your school and our house so that when you turn the switch on, the light works. To Ethan and Hank, that was a very cool and very satisfying answer. Like magic, Hank said. Pretty much, yeah. Ethan and Hank approach life with an empty cup. They are still able to see what is there. They greet the world each day with curiosity, knowing no other way. We had a neighbor once who always seemed to be out in his yard, building or fixing something. And as I'd head down our street, I'd have these daily 15-second snapshots of this guy. And he was a tall white man with a long, bushy beard and some tattoos. And I'd find myself looking around for his motorcycle. Just, this guy's gotta have a motorcycle. And the first few times we ran into him while taking a walk, we'd exchange a few pleasantries, and I noticed there was a tattoo on the inside of one of his forearms that seemed particularly bold and pronounced. But it was always mostly covered, and I could never get a good look at it without being rude or making it too obvious that I was trying to figure out what it was. All I could get out of the corner of my eye was this flash of red. I decided he must have grown up somewhere rural. I knew that we would not agree politically, so best to just avoid that. And I grumbled to myself about how he obviously felt comfortable sporting a tattoo that I was fairly certain was a Confederate flag. So one evening, my neighbor and his wife and their 3-year-old were sitting around a fire pit in their front yard and asked us to join them as we came back from our walk. and delighted to have a playmate for our kids and have some adult conversation, we said yes. As it turns out, my neighbor with his long, bushy beard and his wife and little one had recently moved from Chicago. He stays home with their daughter while his wife works. And when he rolled up his sleeve to make some adjustments to the fire, I finally got a good look at the tattoo on his forearm. It was his daughter's name surrounded by red flowers. When I complimented him about his tattoo, he smiled and explained, yeah, those flowers were in bloom when she was born. When Suzuki Roshi describes beginner's mind, he speaks of the mind that is not already made up. On the walk back to our house, I tried to declutter my mind of whatever other preconceptions and assumptions I had stored there, 15 seconds at a time, trying belatedly to make some room for all I did not know about him. Sometimes when I am running late, I swear that school buses hide somewhere waiting until they see me coming, which is when they turn on their flashing lights, swing that stop sign out, and the cars have to stop in both directions for God knows how long. And often when this happens, I sit there cursing the fates, feeling an eternity tick by before finally I'm able to move forward and go about my day. But this one morning, I was not running late yet. I was returning from an early morning swim, and the rhythm of my arms and legs, the alternating bursts of cool air and warm water, the feeling of being held by that water, had emptied my mind for a moment of its clutter. And there it was, a school bus, lights flashing, stop sign extended. No matter what the driver of each car was rushing toward, everyone stopped in both directions, and we waited. We watched together as this precious pint-sized being walked around the bus, oversized backpack waving to and fro, and got inside. I was struck still by the beauty of this ritual, as if I had never seen it before. When a child walks into the road for even a moment, everything stops. For that moment, they become our child. And together we hold the edges of this safe space for them, sending them off into a day that we won't get to hear about later, but knowing in some small way we did our part. In the early morning light, an experience that had become fixed and stale and tiresome was somehow new again. The Buddhist abbess Blanche Hartman writes, "Beginner's mind is the mind that's just exploring, open to whatever occurs, curious, seeking but not with expectation or grasping, just being there and observing and seeing what occurs, being ready for whatever experience arises in the moment." this practice of clearing our minds to receive the world anew as if for the first time, makes it possible for us to begin again in any moment. We do not need to wait for a change in season or some pivotal transition in our lives. Beginner's mind is always there inside of us. If we're rushing ahead with our day and forgetting to be amazed by the world around us, or we see someone and decide within seconds that we know their story, know what they think, how they act, who they are, or when we forget something mundane or routine is sacred. It is in our power with practice to pause, breathe, clear our mind of certainties, and begin again, curious, open. It will keep happening. We will be fooled again into thinking that we already know everything we need to know. We will feel at least a dozen more times just today a busy mind that tells rather than listens, projects reality rather than receiving reality. But if we pause long enough, hold still long enough, and just notice, take note of what we are thinking or feeling, in that beat, that space, that quiet, the possibility of a new awareness emerges. It becomes possible to notice when we've stopped really seeing something or someone that we look at every day, to notice when we feel awfully, steadfastly, unmovingly certain about something or someone. In that pause, we may notice that our mind has grown so full that there is no room for beauty or wonder to surprise us. If we are willing to practice emptying ourselves of preconceptions, assumptions, and expectations, if we are willing to practice letting go of our fixed or rigid understanding of the way things are, in any moment we are given, we can begin again. We can receive with an open mind and a curious heart the world around us and the life we have as if for the first time. Blessed be. Amen. Now, would you be with me in meditation, just getting as comfortable as you can in your chair, newly aware of how it feels. At home, you might even lay down. And if you're comfortable, just close your eyes. And before we even focus on our breath, just noticing where your shoulders are. If they've crept up toward your ears, just gently invite them back down. Maybe you're holding some tension in your palms. Just let your fingers relax. Or your jaw. You might put the tip of your tongue on the top of your mouth to relax your jaw. And then just start to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And notice the temperature of breath as you pull it in And maybe what changes when you exhale through your mouth. And as you breathe, just start scanning your body for sensations, feelings. It might be the weight of your body in your seat. It might be an ache in your back. Maybe an openness in your chest. Might be a feeling, worry, sadness, excitement. Whatever you notice as you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, just saying to that sensation or that feeling in the quiet of your inner world, I see you. I hear you. I'm here for you. Just take a few more deep breaths, just allowing whatever is arising to be as it is. Nothing to fix, nothing to change. Pause, breathe, start again. Newly curious, newly wise. Amen. We are going to sing together again. This is number 1009 in your teal hymnal, or the words will be on the screen. Please rise in body or spirit.
We'll lead it. Feel free to join for any of the parts that speak to you or just to listen. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe out. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
When I breathe in,
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
when I breathe out,
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
That was lovely. I would now like to invite any visitors who are here with us for the first time or perhaps returning for the second and third and have never formally stood and introduced themselves to do so. Please tell us your name and where you're coming from, both geographically and metaphysically. It's all good. We have ushers with microphones, and please wait for them to come to you. Would our visitors be so emboldened as to please stand and introduce yourselves? It always takes that one to break the ice. Thank you.
I'm Chrissy. I'm she, her. I'm from many places. First Earth, then Greenville, now Asheville. I'm with these lovely people who probably will not stand, and I'll probably get a good talking to after this. But thank you for having me.
Welcome. All.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm from India. My religion is Hindu, but seeing all these people it's heart-touching, heartwarming. Thank you, everyone, for this experience.
Welcome and thank you. Any others? Well, standing to my right is the unflappable Trevor. Trevor is our connections coordinator, and he would love to meet you after the service, especially if you have any questions. After the service, please join us in Sandberg Hall at the welcome table, where we'd love to chat and share with you lots of information. If you're a regular congregant, you know your challenge. Please meet how many people that you've not spoken to before? 3, and introduce yourself and engage in some new conversation. The work of this congregation extends well beyond these walls and this day. Our announcements have run as slides at the beginning of the service. If you missed them, please refer to our weekly e-news coming out every Thursday, as these announcements and so much more are described there. If you're not receiving the e-news, you can email us at information@uuasheville.org, and we'll sign you up. Or you can see myself or any of the ushers after the service, and we'll make sure that you get the e-news. It is chock full of information. All that we do here is supported entirely by the gifts of your love, your time, and your energy, and your resources. You are what makes this happen. In response to the devastating floods in Texas, we are shifting our community plate recipient this month from the Ministerial Discretionary Fund to the UUA Direct Relief Fund. The Direct Relief Fund was one of the very first organizations that we heard from after we were impacted by Helene, and they quickly released monies to us and to neighboring UU congregations, invited us to support the neighbors and the community partners as we saw fit. They were generous and rushed to our on-the-ground wisdom about where those funds should go. The generosity of UUs all across the country made a difference for us, and now we have the opportunity to make a difference for those in Texas, as well as those impacted by the fires in California. If you are able to support this cause, please use the QR code, which is found online, the online link, or whatever means is best for you. If you're contributing by check or online, please note in the memo that it is for the Texas Fund. We also acknowledge that there are immediate needs in this congregation. If you're struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Your ministers are here for you, as is our pastoral care team. The offering will now be gratefully accepted.
Does anybody know Billy Jonas? Billy Jonas is a lovely guy. One of my favorite musicians, lives here in Asheville. I think I heard this song when when he was playing this for us. So it's a song called To Be One. To Be One. And it reminds me of that ancient Buddhist tale where the Buddha came to New York City and he saw a hot dog cart. Anybody know this one? I knew you would, James. And the hot dog vendor said, "What do you have?" One with everything. And the Buddha said, "Make me one with everything." And then some people throw in a little tag, which is, so the Buddha gave him $20. And he says, "Where's my change?" And the hot dog vendor says,
Change comes from within.
Billy Jones. If you want to be one with the water, dance with the river, sing with the sea. And if you want to be a one with the air, rage with the thunder, then whisper to me when you're ready to become. Stand strong and surrender ready to be one. If you want to be a one with the earth, melt with the mountains, shift with the sands. And if you want to be a one with the fire, burn all your bridges, then reach for my hand when you're ready to become. Stand strong and surrender ready to be one. If you want to be one with the infinite, spin with the planets, shine with the stars. And if you want to be one with the spirit, surrender. You already are ready to become. Stand strong and surrender ready to be one. If you want to be a one, if you want to be a one, if you want to be one.
Trevor has asked me to say, go for it, Trevor. Did I say he was unflappable?
I usually make this announcement in the other room, but sometimes it's hard to just make it in the commotion of everything. There's going to be a newcomers gathering after service today. We're going to be downstairs in one of the education rooms down there. If you're new to the congregation and want to learn more information, get more connected, ask a billion questions of me, more than happy to have you there. And there will also be snacks, so just for the newcomers. All right, thank you.
May we receive the hours and days ahead as unexpected gifts, pausing to listen, notice, marvel at what possibilities emerge.
Up above my head,
Up above my head,
I hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
And up above my head,
Up above my head,
I hear music in the air.
hear music in the air.
Up above my head,
I hear music in the air.
I really do believe
There's a joy somewhere.
all around this room.
All around this room,
I hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
All around this room.
All around this room,
I hear music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
All around this room.
room, I hear music in the air.
I really do
Believe there's joy somewhere.
this world.
all around this
I
world.
hear the music in the air.
I hear music in the air.
All around this world.
All around this
I hear
world.
music in the
I
air.
hear music in the air.
All around this
World, I hear music in the air.
I really do believe,
Really do believe there's joy somewhere.
said I really do believe,
Really do believe there's joy somewhere.
said I really do believe.
Really do believe there's joy somewhere.
Hey.
Would you please rise in body or spirit as we finish the day and move into the week ahead, embracing it with love as we sing Long Time Son.